Hey everyone, welcome back to the Jay and May English podcast. I'm May and I am so happy you're here with us today.
And I'm Mr. J. Great to have everyone back.
Okay, Mr. J, today's topic is one that I personally needed to hear a long time ago.
Oh yeah? What do you mean?
We're talking about studying English the wrong way. And honestly, I think I did this for years.
You are definitely not alone, May. So many learners go through this exact same thing.
Right? And if you are someone who has studied English for months or even years, but still feels stuck, this episode is for you.
We're going to talk about why the old methods don't work, what actually does work, and how you can start changing your habits today.
So stay with us. This conversation might completely change how you think about learning English.
Let's get into it.
All right, Mr. J, before we dive in, can I be honest about something?
Always. What's on your mind?
When I was learning English, I used to make these huge vocabulary lists. Like, I would write down 30, 40, even 50 words a day.
Oh, wow. That is a lot of words, May.
Right? And I felt so productive. I thought, okay, I'm learning so much. But then the next day, I forgot almost everything.
And that's the thing. It felt like learning, but it wasn't really sticking, was it?
Not at all. And I think a lot of our listeners have felt this too. You study hard, but you still freeze when someone actually talks to you.
Exactly. That gap between studying and actually using English, that's what we want to close today.
I love that. Closing the gap. Okay, but Mr. J, why does this happen? Why do so many people study English for years and still struggle?
Great question. Okay, so think about it this way. Imagine you want to learn how to swim, but instead of getting in the water, you just read books about swimming every day.
Oh, no.
You memorize every technique, you study the hand movements, the breathing, everything, but you never actually jump in the pool.
And then when someone throws you in the water...
Total panic. That's exactly what happens with English. A lot of learners study English about English, the grammar rules, the vocabulary lists, but they never actually practice using it.
Oh, wow. That really makes sense. So the problem isn't that people are lazy, it's that they're using the wrong method.
Precisely. And it's not their fault. Most of us learned English in school, and school teaches you to pass tests, not to actually have a conversation.
That is so true. I remember my English class was all about filling in the blanks and choosing A, B, or C.
And none of that prepares you for a real conversation where someone says, "Hey, how's it going?" and expects a natural answer.
Right. There's no multiple choice option in real life.
Exactly. And this is really why it matters so much. English isn't just a school subject, it's a life skill.
Can you talk about that a little more? Like, why does it actually matter in real life?
Sure. Think about traveling. If you can speak English confidently, you can ask for directions, order food, make friends from other countries. You're not stuck just pointing at things on a menu.
Okay, yes, I have definitely pointed at a menu before.
We all have. But beyond travel, think about work. So many jobs today require English, and there's a big difference between writing a perfect email and being able to speak up in a meeting.
That is such a good point. I know people who write amazing emails in English, but the moment they have to speak, they go completely quiet.
Because they trained themselves for one thing, writing, but not for speaking. And speaking is a completely different muscle.
I love that idea. English like a muscle. You have to actually use it to make it stronger.
Exactly right. And if you only do one type of exercise, you only build one type of strength.
Okay, that makes so much sense. Hey, speaking of building good habits, if you are enjoying this kind of conversation and you want to keep improving your English step by step, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We do this every week, just for you.
And we love hearing from our listeners, so leave a comment and tell us where you're from and why you want to improve your English.
Yes, we read every single one. Okay, Mr. J, let's go deeper. What are the most common mistakes that English learners actually make?
All right, so mistake number one is what I call the dictionary trap.
The dictionary trap. What is that?
It's when a learner memorizes individual words, just the word alone, with no sentence, no context, no situation around it.
Oh, like just memorizing the word ambitious, but not knowing when or how to use it.
Exactly. You know the word, but when you try to use it in a sentence, your brain kind of freezes because it has never seen that word in action.
So it's like knowing the name of a tool, but never learning what the tool actually does.
Perfect analogy, May. A hammer is just a hammer until you see someone use it to build something.
So instead of learning single words, we should learn phrases?
Yes, phrases, full sentences, real expressions. Something like, I'm really looking forward to this. That whole phrase together, not just the word forward by itself.
That makes so much more sense, because in real conversation, nobody just says one word at a time.
Right. And here's something most learners don't realize. Your brain remembers meaning in context. When a word lives inside a real sentence, inside a real situation, it sticks.
Wait, that's actually really interesting. So the situation itself helps you remember?
Think about it. Do you remember random facts from a textbook, or do you remember stories that happened to you in real life?
Oh, wow. Real life stories for sure, always.
Because emotion, situation, and context make the memory stronger. Language works the same way.
Okay, I feel like my whole study routine needs a reset.
Don't worry, we're going to give you a new one. But first, mistake number two. This one is very common. I call it passive learning.
Passive learning? You mean like just listening or watching but not doing anything active?
Exactly. Like watching English movies and feeling like you're learning, but you never pause, repeat, or say anything out loud.
Oh, okay, I am definitely guilty of this. I used to watch American TV shows for hours and think, this is great practice.
And it can be great practice, but only if you're active about it. If you just sit back and watch, your brain is in entertainment mode, not learning mode.
So, what's the difference? What makes it active?
Simple. Pause the show, repeat the sentence out loud. Even better, try to say what you think the character will say before they say it.
Oh, that sounds fun actually, like a little game.
Exactly. Turn it into a game. Shadow the speaker, meaning repeat right after them, copying their tone, their speed, their energy.
Shadowing. I've heard that word before. So you're basically copying the speaker to train your mouth to move in English.
Yes, your mouth is a muscle too. The more you practice those sounds and rhythms, the more natural they become.
This is where things really start to change, isn't it? Like, this is the moment when English stops being something you study and starts being something you use.
That is the moment. And once you cross that line, everything speeds up.
Okay, what about mistake number 3? Because I feel like there's more.
Oh, there's more. Mistake number 3, and this one is really, really common, is being too afraid to make mistakes.
Oh, yes. This one hits hard.
Tell me about it.
I used to wait until I felt ready to speak, like I needed to know every grammar rule perfectly before I opened my mouth, and that day never really came.
Because perfect readiness never comes. Language is messy. Even native speakers make mistakes every single day.
Wait, really?
Of course. They use wrong grammar, they forget words, they say and all the time. Nobody speaks perfectly.
So why do learners feel so much pressure to be perfect?
Because school taught us that mistakes equal failure. Red pen on your paper, wrong answer, bad grade. But in real life, a mistake in conversation just means you're trying.
And trying is how you actually learn.
Exactly. I always say every mistake is a free lesson. It shows you exactly what needs more practice.
I love that. Every mistake is a free lesson. Okay, Mr. J, so now I want to know, what should we actually do instead? What does the right method look like?
All right, so let's build a simple daily routine because the key word is daily Not 3 hours on Saturday, a little bit every single day.
Okay, like how much? Because some of our listeners are really busy.
Even 15 to 30 minutes a day is powerful. The consistency is what matters, not the length.
That feels so much more manageable than what I used to do.
So here's a simple structure. Morning, listen. Put on an English podcast during breakfast or your commute. Don't stress about understanding every word. Just let your ears get comfortable with the sounds.
So just let it wash over you in the morning?
Exactly. Comfortable listening. Then, in the afternoon, or whenever you have a free moment, speak. Say phrases out loud. Narrate what you're doing. I'm making coffee. I'm opening the door. Talk to yourself in English.
I do this, and honestly, it works.
It works because you're building the habit of thinking directly in English, not translating from your native language first.
Oh, wait, that's a big one. The translation habit. Can you talk about that more?
Yes, this is really important. A lot of learners think in their own language and then translate to English in their head before speaking.
And that process is slow.
Right. By the time you finish translating, the moment in the conversation is already gone. The goal is to start thinking in English directly. And the way you do that is by using English so much that it becomes your natural response.
So it's like building a shortcut in your brain?
That's a great way to put it. A shortcut that skips the translation and goes straight to English.
And the evening? You said listen in the morning, speak in the afternoon. What about evening?
Evening is for enjoyment. Watch something fun in English, a show, a YouTube channel, something you genuinely like, because when you enjoy it, you pay more attention.
And we can use that shadowing technique you mentioned.
Exactly. So the routine is listen, speak, enjoy. Morning, afternoon, evening. Simple, consistent, powerful.
I feel like I just got a whole new study plan, and it doesn't feel overwhelming at all.
Because it shouldn't be overwhelming. Learning a language should feel like living, not studying.
Okay, I want to ask you about something else that I think a lot of listeners deal with. What if someone has been studying English for a long time, like years, and they feel like they haven't made progress? What do you say to them?
I say, first, don't give up, because the problem is almost always the method, not the person.
That's really important to hear.
If you have been studying for years and still feel stuck, ask yourself, how much time have I spent actually speaking English out loud? Most people, if they're honest, will say, not much.
Because everything was reading and writing and grammar exercises.
Right, and those things have value, but they're not enough on their own. Speaking and listening need their own dedicated practice time.
So the solution isn't to study more, it's to study differently.
Study smarter, not harder. Focus on output. Every time you learn something new, use it immediately. Say it out loud. Use it in a sentence. Teach it to a friend.
Teaching is such a powerful way to learn, right?
One of the best. When you explain something to someone else, your brain has to really understand it deeply, not just memorize it.
Okay, this has been such an amazing conversation, but before we do our vocabulary moment, I just want to say if you are feeling motivated right now, write this down. Small daily habits beat one big study session every week. Mr. J, would you agree?
100%. Small and consistent always wins. Always.
Love it. Okay, vocabulary time. This is one of my favorite parts. Mr. J, what words are we covering today?
All right, we have 5 great ones from our conversation today. First word, fluency.
Fluency. Oh, this is a word every English learner knows, right? But let's make sure we really understand it.
Fluency means the ability to speak a language easily, smoothly, and naturally without stopping and thinking too much. So you can say, after practicing every day for 6 months, she started to notice real fluency in her speaking.
Fluency, the goal. Okay, say it with us. Fluency. Beautiful. Next word?
Immersion. This one is key. Immersion means surrounding yourself completely with the language, not just studying it, but living inside it.
Like when you listen to English podcasts, watch English shows, think in English, that's immersion.
Exactly. A sentence, The best way to improve quickly is through daily immersion in the language. Immersion. Say it. Immersion.
I love that word. It sounds fancy, but the idea is simple. Just put yourself inside the language as much as possible. Next.
Third word, consistent. This means doing something regularly without stopping, not 3 hours one day and then nothing for a week.
Oh yes, consistent. She was consistent with her English practice, studying just 20 minutes every morning. Consistent. Repeat it. Consistent.
Fourth word, output. This is a really important concept. Output means the English you produce, the speaking, the writing, the things you create.
As opposed to input, which is what you receive, listening and reading.
Exactly. Great point. To improve your speaking, you need more output practice, not just more listening. Output. Say it. Output.
And our last vocabulary word?
Last one, context. Context means the situation or background around a word or sentence that helps you understand its meaning.
Like the word cool means different things in different contexts. Cool weather versus that's so cool.
Perfect example. Always learn new words in context, not just from a dictionary. Context. Repeat. Context.
Okay, so our 5 words today are fluency, immersion, consistent, output, and context. Say each one out loud. Fluency, immersion, consistent, output, and context. Great job!
And these aren't just vocabulary words. They're actually your entire new English learning strategy in 5 words.
Ooh, I love that. Be consistent with output, use immersion, learn in context, and build fluency. Done.
Look at that. May just summarized the whole episode in one sentence.
Okay, let me try to do the full recap in my own words, because this is my favorite part. So we talked about how a lot of English learners have been studying the wrong way, not because they're not smart or not trying hard enough, but because the method is wrong.
Go on.
The big mistakes are learning single words instead of whole phrases, doing passive learning, like just watching without repeating or practicing, and being too scared to make mistakes.
All correct. And the solutions?
Learn phrases in context. Practice output every day, speaking, not just reading. Build a simple daily routine. Listen in the morning, speak in the afternoon, enjoy English content in the evening, and stop translating from your native language. Try to think directly in English.
That is a perfect recap, May. And I'll add just one final thought. Progress in English is not about how long you study. It's about how often you actually use it.
Every day, even a little bit, is better than once a week for a long time.
Exactly. Treat English like a daily habit, not a homework assignment.
I love that so much. Okay, before we close, if you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to our channel and share it with a friend who's also learning English. It really helps us reach more learners around the world.
And hey, every share means one more person gets better at English, so you're doing a good thing.
Okay, and our question for you today, we would love to hear your answer in the comments. Here it is. What is one English learning habit you used to have that you now realize was the wrong method?
Maybe it was the long vocabulary lists. Maybe it was only studying grammar. Whatever it was, tell us. We want to know.
Because honestly, your answer might help another learner out there realize they're not alone.
That's the power of this community.
All right, everyone, that's it for today's episode of the Jay and May English Podcast. Thank you so much for spending this time with us.
Keep speaking, keep practicing, and remember, every small step forward is still a step forward.
We'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.
Take care.